Coming up on the season finale of Flashtalk, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Head track and field coach Nate Fanger stops on by. It's MAC Track and Field Championship Week out in Northern Illinois, and he'll break that down for us. Softball coach Jess O'Donnell talks about a wild senior weekend against the Zips. Andrew Hammond stops by to talk about all the ticketing deals coming up the rest of this spring, summer, and fall. And since it's the season finale, we take a look at some of the great moments of this past calendar year. That's all coming up in a flash. Welcome back into our Flash Talk studios. We're brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin talking Mid-American Track and Field Championship Week with head track and field coach Nate Fanger. And coach, a happy championship week.
Hey, it's championship time. Let's go.
Well, you guys get the trek out to DeKalb, where Northern Illinois is going to host this year. And let's just talk about, since the last time we had you on, everything kind of builds into this week. So how has the team been training, been competing, and how have you guys been staggering everything out so this week is the time to shine?
Yeah, it's been a good season overall. I mean, we've had to fight some of the weather, but we've had some good marks across the board. You know, we've been able to get down south a little bit. We were in Kentucky. We were in Louisville. We got to go to Duke. So, you know, people kind of get a little bit of get their freshness and their excitement on those meets. But again, this is what we do those meets for, is we're timing up for the conference championship. So they are all gears on and ready to go. You know, finals week is this week, unfortunately, but they kind of get that corralled in right now. You get their Monday and Tuesday stuff out of the way, and then, you know, all hands on deck, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let's go.
It should be a lot of fun, as both the men and the women are considered in the upper echelon in the conference, which is always exciting to see. But when it comes to training and competing, you obviously take the reins off everybody a couple of weeks ago and really kind of let them shine. At some point, do you rein them back in so they can explode back out again here this week? Like, how does the timing work to where, all right, you're going to go full bore, then we need you to throttle it back so you have that extra gear when we need you to?
Yeah, that's peaking, right? So you really kind of upload them early in the season. You make sure they've got the proper loads of training. We're training them hard in the weight room. We're training them, you know, multiple sprints, multiple throws. And then as season goes along, you kind of taper that a little bit back. So you make sure that they're kind of feeling fresh, and their mentality that's the most important aspect. It's not just the freshness of their legs, their arms, but their mentality of how to compete is there. So that does come a lot with the weather, but yeah, we're right now in peak phase. You know, everyone's kind of gearing up for, again, finals is a big thing for me because it's got to get out of that way. Mentality-wise, they've got to be there mentally and getting some of their finals done. But, you know, physically, the hay's in the barn. You know, we're ready to go. The less is more at this point. So just making sure everyone stays healthy and mentally they're geared in and focused to go.
Well, I think a lot of the schools are also dealing with finals this week. Do you like that as a necessary distraction for the team?
Right. Yeah. You know, it goes both ways. We've had it where we haven't had finals and we kind of get the same results. It is, for me, it's not a big issue. I just think this year is a little bit different issue because we're traveling Tuesday versus a Wednesday. Because we're heading out to DeKalb, which is it's a chunk of distance. So it just makes it a little bit different. But I think, like you say, once they get those finals done and the brain is kind of let go, then it's like, hey, all hands on deck for let's competing and getting physically after it. So,
like you mentioned, it is going to be a epic bus trip. A car, it's 6.5 hours, so you probably have to add hour and a half to that to get out in a bus. I know it's a business trip, but do you does the team have activities, or is it just laser focused for 8 hours? Everybody's on their iPads watching Netflix and doing their own thing, or is this a goofy group where there's going to be like some sort of bus idol competition and everybody's rocking and rolling? Or maybe we'll save that for the trip home.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's pockets of different groups. So you might have a group playing Uno, and then you might have a group sleeping and listening to their own music. So track and field is weird, where you don't have necessarily on the same bus doing the same thing, but you can kind of pocket in certain spots of the bus. If you're walking through, hey, you guys are playing this game, and you guys are sleeping, and you guys are listening to your headsets. So track and field is a lot of individuals with a lot of different personalities. So, yeah.
Now, what do you do at the time? Are you meeting with certain athletes over the course of the time, making sure that their mind and body are right? Are you trying to relax and and get yourself focused. I mean, it's 8 hours in a bus. It's not the most comfortable of situations.
Well, it kind of depends how we're doing this bus thing. If we get in two buses, then I'll be on a bus. If not, then it's kind of a cram jam, and I'm trying to drive. So I would say 9 times out of 10, if we're going on a track trip, I'm probably in a van driving a certain amount of athletes just because we've got a group going. So it depends how it plays out here the next couple of days.
Coach, best of luck. Let's save a couple of chairs for the bus ride home for some hardware, and best of luck out in DeKalb.
I appreciate it, my man.
Welcome back into our Flash Talk studios. Dan Griffin alongside head softball coach Jess O'Donnell. Talk a little softball here on Flash Talk. As always, we're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. And Coach, a memorable senior weekend, honestly, for more reasons than one, whether it be the drama on the diamond or, unfortunately, the uncooperating weather.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, it being against the school down the road was a big one. But it was nice to have a great day yesterday to celebrate our seniors. Kind of sad the way it had to end in terms of having the game canceled, but definitely it's always an exciting match against them.
I mean, all 3 games back and forth. You guys went, and let's talk a little bit about Friday's drama. And yeah, I mean, it's not every day you get a walk-off, let alone a game-tying and then a game-winning shot within a couple of batters of one another. So, I mean, you always talk about playing to that 21st out, and that certainly showed all weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Not only just the rivalry game, but us trying to get into the tournament, I think, really lit a fire under them, especially in that last couple outs. I mean, that was incredible for our team to fight as hard as they did, both offensively and in the circle, but super proud of them, and what an exciting way to end the game.
I think it was Bria Despinese that tied it, and then Savannah Wing hits the walk-off as you guys get the W. But, I mean, you talk about the fighting in the circle. Megan Nectarline really just took the team on her right shoulder for the last month or so of the season, and literally gave you everything that she had and probably a little bit more.
Oh, hands down. I'm just super impressed with her in general, of just saying I want the ball and I want to be the one to go out there and make stuff happen, and continuing to learn and never complaining, not once. I think that's super impressive, and just proud of her for being a freshman and wanting the ball and wanting to get out there and help us get to the tournament and see what we can do.
Well, unfortunately, things didn't break your way, but it took a perfect game on the part of Ball State to kind of tip the scales in your favor. When you see that, all you kind of do is tip your cap. Well, there's nothing really much left that the pitcher could do other than, all right, well, we need you to win our season, and then 15 up, 15 down, game over.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. We started with Ball State, and then it came down to Ball State. So isn't that crazy? I mean, we went out the gates and swept them, and then they took care of business at the end. And really, it's not always about how you start. It's more about how you finish. And unfortunately, they had the momentum going into the tournament, and sometimes it just happens that way.
Well, let's talk a little bit about just the season as a whole. You're first here at Kent State. Obviously, you're on the door of making the tournament, but you get 26 wins this year, a vast improvement over years past, and obviously the arrow and the momentum pointing straight up here for the program. So congratulations to you and your team for a job well done here this year in your first go-around.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's tough to not make that tournament when we preached that all year and what we came in to say, this is what we're going to do, but definitely heading in the right direction. I mean, we improved, as you mentioned, in wins. We improved in ERA. We improved in stolen bases. We improved in fielding percentage. Just super proud of our team. And just the fight that we had toward the end, or the whole season, I should say, with some injuries and things like that, and just working through, and definitely proud of our seniors. So lots of improvement, and the future looks bright. That's all I can say.
What is kind of the first things to do here? Is obviously the student athletes prepare for finals. You guys start the off-season checklist. So what is the next kind of month to 6 weeks look like for you, the team, and your staff?
I think taking a little bit of a rest, both mentally and physically, to get the engines restarted and focused and get the momentum heading into next season. My mind's already focused on next season and what we need to do and hit the recruiting trail this summer, and so is our staff. But I think for us, it's keeping that conversation going. Hey, in the grand scheme of things, there were so many games that if they would have went a different way, or one more hit or one more walk or one more strikeout, could have been in our favor to hit that tournament. And we talked toward the last couple weeks of one more, and really it came down to one less win than what we needed in order to get in that tournament. So I think we're using that as momentum and fuel heading into next season. You have to. That has to be our motivation if we want to continue to grow and move forward and be the best that we can be, is, hey, we got to push this a little bit more.
And I mean, like you said, the arrow is going up. The energy, the positivity is contagious in that dugout. You can feel it through all 7 innings. There's a vibe there, for lack of a better word, and it's exciting to watch. And it's only going to spread as you guys get started.
For sure, and that's always been something we preach, is we want to out-energize that other team. We want to have energy that lasts us through a doubleheader. We want to have that focus that lasts us through a doubleheader, and that's hard to do, but you got to train that way and stay focused. So we're going to train hard in the offseason and come back even better next year.
Well, Coach, thank you for some fantastic memories. It's always fun to walk off the school down the road, and we'll get some R&R and then hit back the recruiting trail. It should be a busy summer and a fun summer for you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Kent State back in the title game for the first time since '06. Way across the timeline, has Jenna Bass, bounce pass, far side right, lays it up and in! Top of jumper, shooing off the glass, it's home. Pump fakes from three, takes a long two instead, and knocks it through. Morse wide open, top of the key three, Deanna Gray delivers. Back to Gray, tries another three for the lead. Deanna Gray, Gray in the right wing, Bridget Dunn rolling to the rim guard is on his arm. El Husseini, Gray, backs up right. Deanna Gray! Pumping against Johnson, up the glass and in. Oh, what a play by the fifth year. That's gonna let it go, lets it in the shot clock. Butler makes it in. Time and Shoemate out front. Deep, Katie Shoemate, you know it! Oh, yeah! Key three, pounds the pebble, turns around, foul line jumper, yeah! Turns the corner, right side, layup off the glass is in. 3 magical days in March. Grab your dancing shoes, Flashes fans. It's been 22 years too long. Kent State women's basketball is going to the NCAAs for the first time since 2002.
Let's take a look at what's going on around Kent State athletics. As always, we're brought to you by KSUTix.com. Want to wish best of luck to our men's and women's track and field teams as they'll be competing this weekend at the Track and Field Championships out at Northern Illinois. This weekend, baseball is on the road in the Wagon Wheel Series against the school down the road, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon out in the Rubber City. Next week, starting on Monday, we have Pizza, Punts, and Pints. Let's talk a little football with head coach Kenny Burns and a couple of the coaches get us ready for the summer and the upcoming 2024 season. On Thursday, our final home weekend of baseball gets started as baseball welcomes in the defending tournament champion Ball State Cardinals. That's Thursday at 6, Friday at 3, Saturday at 1. And our big event of the summer, June 1st, the Golden Flash Bash. For tickets and information about that event and more events this summer, visit kentstatesports.com/TGFC events. Welcome back into our Flash Talk studios. As always, we're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin talking some upcoming events with Director of Ticketing Andrew Hammond. And, sir, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here. First time in the studio.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the last home events of the year. It's going to be baseball taking on the defending tournament champion Ball State. That never feels good to say, considering it was on our diamond last year, but can end the regular season on a high note and get ready for the tournament. But tickets still available for what should be a beautiful and great weekend of college baseball.
Absolutely. Last year with the way that things went down against Ball State, it was the highest of highs and lowest of lows as a Kent State baseball fan. But as a baseball fan in and of itself, it was a ton of fun, and Schoonover Stadium really is the place to be this time of year when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, it's going to be next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We changed things up a little bit with the upcoming tournament, but tickets are always available at KSUTix.com, and you guys even offer some upgraded packages for select games throughout the year, but that's the place to go for all things ticketing.
Absolutely, it is. Always somebody here in the office, too, on the phone, ready to take your calls, help you get squared away to get out to Schoonover Stadium. Late May baseball is kind of my favorite time of year to be out there, obviously because it's nice out, but also just because it really means summer's here, and what better way to finish the academic year than hanging out with all your family, your friends, and the Golden Flash's faithful.
Yeah, and then we've got 3 Saturday games and then 2 rivalry games in midweeks. So, I mean, you're looking at a 5-game home slate that's either going to be on an awesome fall weekend or midweek action against an arch rival, which is a pretty great deal. And ticket package is extremely reasonable as well.
Absolutely. Season tickets start at just $60 a piece for general admission. And we have some great seating opportunities available on the 50-yard line in our chairback seating. Always great to have that back support out there. And, as you alluded to, there's some other great benefits this year for season tickets. In addition to the road games access, you get the Kent Grit branded golf umbrella. You're going to get a schedule magnet similar to what you did last year, email updates from Coach Burns himself, as well as some great other little goodies like additional discounts on single game tickets. Say your neighbor wants to come with you. Hey, we're going to cut you a deal for being able to support us. So,
and those single game tickets, if for whatever reason, scheduled or otherwise, that's not in the cards for you, look for select dates throughout the summer for those to become available as well. And before you know it, it's going to be volleyball and basketball season. And I mean, usually in the middle of the summer, we'll get the full slate of games for basketball, so look for that information. But volleyball, exciting times under Coach Haley Eckerman, and those season tickets are going to be back and better than ever.
Absolutely. July 1, right as soon as that gets here, we will have those available for folks. We got the conference schedule. It all looks great and fun, and we're just finalizing some non-conference games with some local rivals. So, going to be great to have a lot of support there. And that will also have some benefits in and of itself with some gifts for season tickets as well. So we really have all the bases covered here, and very excited.
Well, yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about football, because Saturday, September 7th, everything gets started at home when St. Francis comes to town, but you also have a homecoming game against Eastern Michigan. We've got another home game in September as well. And then when we're referring to the rivals, we've got the Wagon Wheel game, and we've got the Ohio Bobcats on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, respectfully, in the month of November. I mean, you talk about a 5-game action-packed plan. You're either getting beautiful weather or a rivalry game.
Absolutely. And to even take more advantage of that, again, going back to the season tickets, it saves you close to 30-40% depending on where you want to sit. So if you can't commit to the full season, we're still going to have some great options and opportunities for you to come out. It's funny that it's pretty much the same as it was 2 years ago with our schedule back in 22. So, familiar opponents, maybe a different time of year that we play them, but regardless of that, it's still going to be action-packed and exciting out there on the gridiron.
It should be a whole heck of a lot of fun in year 2 of the Kenny Burns era. So look for those tickets and emails. If they have any questions, where can they go and how can they sign up to learn more about you guys?
Best way to reach us is emailing us at athletictickets@kent.edu or calling us at 330-672-4455.
Andrew Hammond, always a pleasure. Be on the lookout for him all over the summer, and look for email messages for him. We want to see you at all the Golden Flashes events here this coming spring, summer, and fall.
Always on offer.
That's going to do it for this season of Flash Talk, brought to you by Brian Hing and Cooling. We'll be back again here in the fall to talk about the wonderful world of Kent State athletics. For all of us here inside the GFTV studios, this is Dan Griffin saying goodnight and go Flashes.